Hey YouTube, this is Gregory Nelson. Welcome to What Did I Just Watch? Episode 5. This is a YouTube series where I show my favorite matches to my favorite people who are specifically non-wrestling fans. We'll be covering matches that go to the absolute limit, see how they create drama and tell a story, and keep those viewers wanting more. Before we get into today's interview, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and if you really want to show your dedication, you'll click that little bell icon so you never miss an episode. My guest today is Britney Clark. Britney is a good friend of mine. We've known each other forever. I'm so happy she's agreed to do this show. I'm going to give Britney 60 seconds to cut a little promo and tell you a little bit about herself. Britney, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Greg. Hello, everyone. My name is Britney. So I'm obsessed with skincare. I'm known to spend my whole entire paycheck on like one lotion, as long as it promises to keep me looking like I'm 23 for the rest of my life. That'd be amazing. I also am obsessed with pets. So I have a 14-year-old dog named Gemma, who's the love of my life at home right now. We have a 7-year-old greyhound. And then we have a 4-year-old cat who right now is sitting in the sink covered in paint because I was just painting my cabinets. I'm also known to watch pets a lot, and I also have, we foster animals as well. So we always have like random dogs coming and going. Yeah, and I love makeup. And I am known to have a different hair color probably every month that you see me. My hair will be a different color.
There was a time in my life where Britney would come over to my house a lot, and my mother would refer to her as the girl who changed her hair color all the time.
Is that how Bev referred to me?
It is. Specifically the silver hair, when you went through the silver hair phase.
Yes, that was every mom's favorite.
So Britney, what would you say is your background as far as a wrestling fan is concerned?
So my brother used to watch wrestling a lot when we were younger. I would come home and he would be in full face paint, and him and my cousin Justina would be like body slamming each other and screaming in the other room. But I was like 15 and too cool for it, you know? And then when I got older and I became friends with you, you and I would watch it sometimes, and we'd watch it sometimes, and then I would go to like your WWE party. I know I was dressed up fully as Hulk Hogan. Maybe we can insert a picture of that.
We will totally insert a picture of that.
It was amazing. I even had abs underneath my shirt, if you remember, so I could rip my shirt off. That was amazing. And then you and I, every Monday, would get together and we would watch it. When I still lived in Massachusetts, we'd watch it every single Monday. That acquired to me loving Daniel Bryan, who I have right here to watch the episode with me.
Who gave you the action figure, Britney?
You. When I moved. This was your moving present to me when I moved to Connecticut. This little guy right here. I keep him in my office. He helps me do my homework. And so I don't watch it frequently, but I will watch episodes like if you and I are watching it. And, the first week that I lived in Connecticut, you and I FaceTimed and watched, I think it was Daniel Bryan.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I know wrestling through you, and you and I did watch a good amount of it. So I tell people I love wrestling, but I've never been to a match. But that would be fun, something to do.
Yeah, once all this end of the world mess is over, for sure.
Yes, exactly.
When Britney agreed to do the show, I didn't have much trouble finding a match that fits her personality. Today, we will be covering the AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy triple threat match for the Intercontinental title from Clash of Champions 2020.
So I'm actually super surprised, Greg, when you asked me to be on the show. Well, I asked myself to be on the show, let's be honest. I was trying to guess what you were going to choose for me. And I was like, you know what? I asked you, I was like, are you going to choose Daniel Bryan? And you said no. And I'm like, okay. And then I was really surprised once you told me today what we're watching, that you didn't choose something from The Shield. Well, whenever we'd watch wrestling and then The Shield would just jump into a ring, I thought it was really annoying. I hated it. I hate that they was interrupted. I was like really into it, and then they would run in and like make people not win, and I would have like full-blown hissy fits every time they'd walk in. And then you, for like 5 minutes straight, would tell me the importance of like why they're jumping in and why it's great, and I never understood.
Oh, the Shield was pretty fantastic. I miss them. Interesting little fact for you. One of the former Shield members is currently in a company that's not WWE as their world champion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty insane to have a stable like that do so much and then see one of their guys go somewhere else and become incredibly successful.
Yeah. Well, they probably weren't utilizing him the way they should have.
Wow, Brittany, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Business major, Greg. Okay. I understand.
Not only is this a great match, but this is the first match I'm covering that takes place inside the WWE Thunderdome, which is WWE's interactive fan experience with state-of-the-art sets, video boards, pyrotechnics, lasers, cutting-edge graphics, and drone cameras. So because of COVID-19, this forced the WWE to take some drastic measures as far as bringing an audience into their stadium. So when you start this match, you will notice that the arena is covered in video screens, and the fans at home are staring into their cell phones, interacting as much as possible. I personally don't like this because when I'm sitting at home, I'm on the couch, leaning back, eating a sandwich, and not interacting at all.
Oh, yeah.
So sadly, the Thunderdome is not for me, but I really like that people are enjoying it.
That's going to be interesting for me to see as well. Because when you watch like the sports ones right now, they have just people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird.
That's exactly what we're talking about here.
Okay.
But the WWE is able to incorporate all of the entrances and everything into these video screens too. So it's a really fun experience, I think.
I was going to say, I wonder how it would be for the wrestlers too, because I feel like part of their performance is feeding off of the energy from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they feed off that energy without people there.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Brittany, a little backstory for this match. Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship from Braun Strowman at the Elimination Chamber back in March of this year. After successfully defending the title against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, Sami decided to stay home as he was not comfortable coming to work during a pandemic. I don't blame him.
No.
However, someone did not understand, as Sami was stripped of the title and a tournament began to crown a new champion. The tournament came down to AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy, with AJ Styles coming out on top. Weeks later, Hardy was able to secure a win over AJ Styles for the championship, which immediately led to a returning Sami Zayn claiming he was the rightful champion. So here we are, Clash of Champions, three men who think they deserve the right to be called the Intercontinental Champion. Without further ado, let's get into this match.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Per usual, if you want the full experience, if we're friends in real life, send me a message. I'll let you borrow my sign-in info for the WWE Network, and you can watch the match. We'll be back in a little bit with Brittany's reactions. And we are back. Brittany, first thoughts on what I have decided to show you today.
First thoughts were, what did I just watch?
That is the name of the show.
Yes. I could hear my husband in the other room going, what the hell is she doing in there? Because I was screaming. It was a lot. Okay, so there was a lot of stimuli going on. There were so many ladders everywhere. When they first panned in, I said ladder match. I thought like one or two ladders. There's like 5,000 ladders. They're everywhere. And that was a lot.
All right, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Not a whole lot happens during the entrances here. All three guys just come to the ring. The belts are already hanging in the air. The bell rings, and Jeff Hardy immediately takes offensive in the beginning, throwing ladders everywhere, just right in the beginning. Sami Zayn winds up jumping out of the ring, hitting a springboard moonsault onto AJ. And then we see a lot of classic trash talk from Sami in this match as he claims that he is the rightful Intercontinental Champion.
Is that normal for him? Because he was talking a lot.
That's normal for him. That's normal for his current character.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going through a lot of stuff right now where he's feeling that he's been unjustly stripped of a championship that he never lost.
Yes, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Jeff and Sami get back into the ring. They brawl back and forth, and that results in Sami taking a huge back body drop onto the ladder.
Yes, that was crazy. And I thought that was funny because the commentators were like, look at his back. Look at, he's covered in welts. And like kept
Oh my
screaming.
God. He really sold the welts. Like, he really let some damage happen to himself to really sell his back in that match.
Well, also, like, you know, that complexion, it's kind of hard to not turn all red. And I know because I lived that life.
So AJ quickly gets back into the ring after that, winds up launching Jeff off the top rope onto a split ladder. Note for everybody at home, this is not the proper way to use a ladder.
It's not. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm on them quite frequently in my line of work.
Oh, I avoid them.
Sami gets back into the ring after this, and AJ just furiously whips him into a ladder. There's a lot of real intense just whips into ladders in this match.
Yeah, people just throwing them into ladders, jumping off of ladders, kicking them into a ladder. I liked the commentary too. A lot of foreshadowing with the commentators. Because they were like, oh, look at Sami Zayn and his knee. Is that going to be a problem later on? And oh, Jeff Hardy, he has, you know, knee problems that AJ gave him. And like, that's why he like couldn't wrestle for a year. Is that going to be a problem? And they kept like saying those things, which I thought was kind of cool because then you were like looking for them to keep happening.
The commentary team also keeps pressing that all three of these men think they're the rightful Intercontinental Champion.
Yes.
And that's such an awesome part of this story because I feel like all three of these guys deserve to be in this title picture at the time.
Yeah, and I think that's why this match was long, and I think that they kept going really hard because they were trying to press that like they should all be the rightful owner.
Well, the Intercontinental Championship is also the workhorse championship.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You see a lot of guys in this title picture doing more than people in a heavyweight championship picture.
Okay.
You really got to earn your way with this title in order to be further appreciated. And I think that adds to Sami's character in this match of feeling underappreciated. After that, a ladder is set up and AJ tries to climb to grab the championships. Hardy is eventually able to stop him and get him grounded. Sami then gets in the ring and attempts to climb the ladder. Sami winds up hitting a huge exploder suplex on AJ onto the ladder set up in the corner.
Yeah, that was crazy too. The only thing I can't stand as someone who doesn't watch wrestling a lot, like I understand these men are tired, but when they like slowly climb up the ladder, I just like scream. I'm like, hurry up, let's go. Like you're almost there. If you just go a little bit faster, you can win.
And at this point, the match goes back outside. Sami launches Jeff into the Thunderdome crowd and makes another attempt at climbing the ladder. He's halfway up the ladder, and AJ Styles just fucking throws this 4-foot ladder at Sami, knocking him to the ground.
That one got me. Because they didn't pan out to it, so you didn't know what was happening. So you just see him climbing up the ladder, and then you just see a ladder come out of nowhere and like cut him off.
The fact that it just comes in right out of the shot is brilliant.
It really got me. And like I was screaming. It really got me. That one got me because they didn't. Normally they'll like pan it out or something, so you kind of like see him getting ready, but they didn't. You had no idea that was coming, and that one really got me. Like that one surprised me.
That's what's great about a triple threat match too, because when one person is, hurt outside the ring, there's still some action going on inside the ring. At this time, all three men are back in the ring. AJ and Hardy are climbing the ladder, and Jeff kind of wobbles back and forth, using the momentum to just let the ladder fall with both men on top of it. But when the ladder lands, AJ goes outside the ring, Jeff hits the ground, and the ladder just falls right at Sami, almost as the universe is saying, this ladder is yours for the taking.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That actually brings us to our next part of the match, where Sami's slowly getting up the ladder. Jeff is right behind him. And then AJ bounces off the top rope, going for a phenomenal forearm. And you can't tell if Jeff is trying to push the ladder over with Sami on it, or if he's trying to shove the ladder into AJ, but he gets both of those jobs done. Jeff winds up hitting a twist of fate on Sami, and at that point, all three men are on the ground with the championship still hanging high.
Is that when the commentator calls him a rubber band man? Or when he yells Venus flytrap at him? Because
I don't know what was going on with the nicknames in this match.
it was my favorite.
Oh my God.
It really was. Oh yeah, he called him a red blob, I think, at one point too.
God.
I kept writing them down because they were really great.
All of these terrible nicknames went right over my head.
Oh yeah, that's what I kept taking notes of. Because then he's like AJ Styles having his way with him, and I was like, oh okay, it's very sexual, but that's fine. Those are what really got me.
So next, Jeff begins to ascend the ladder, and Sami just tips the ladder, sending both Jeff and the ladder outside the ring.
Mm-hmm.
After Jeff goes careening out of the ring, Sami and AJ fight near the announcer's table, and Sami poorly sets up the ladder. It's not his fault. The ladder's just not long enough to reach from the ring apron to the table. Eventually, they wind up getting it set up. Jeff comes out of nowhere, hitting AJ with a ladder, and Sami's just laying there on this bridge of a ladder.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Jeff sees a guy laying down like that, Jeff Hardy is going to be Jeff Hardy and set up a tall ladder and go flying off of it.
You can't hear me or see me, but I was literally screaming, Jeff, you are 50 years old. Like, calm down. I need you to calm down. And he gets on top, and they're like, he's going to do it. And then they had flashed back to it earlier. So that's another foreshadowing that they had done.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, he's going to do it. And all I can think about is like, I'm 30 years old and I can't even finish my shift at work without coming home and crying because I'm in pain. And this man is jumping off of this, like flipping off of this ladder onto another ladder. I cannot fathom that. And still walking.
Yeah, he gets up right after that.
Yeah. I was surprised. We should talk about some of the audience reactions because they are like my favorite. When Jeff Hardy took his shirt off, there was a girl in the front of the audience screaming, and it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
If you look, when you rewatch it, if you look down at the bottom, he's like, getting ready to do his big somersaulty thing off of the ladder, which was, a big deal because he did it before, and like, it's crazy. And the girl is like flipping out the second he takes his shirt off. It was like my favorite thing when I was watching it because I kept watching her and she'd be like this throughout it. Like I was obsessed with her.
Styles gets back into the ring trying to grab the championships. He's once again interrupted by Jeff knocking the ladder over. As both Hardy and Styles are grounded, and now this is where I feel is the best part of the match. As both Hardy and Styles are grounded, Sami introduces two pairs of handcuffs from his entrance jacket pocket.
That just happened to be sitting right on top of the commentator station, which I thought was very convenient.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Sami approaches Jeff, smacks him over the head with a ladder, and he takes the handcuffs and... Let's talk about this. Let's just talk about this. What does he do?
Jeff was on the ground and his head was kind of near the ladder. And Sami pulls up the handcuffs and I immediately knew what was going to happen. And he starts getting closer to Jeff's head. And I was like, oh no. No. And he just like takes the handcuff and starts putting it through Jeff's ear. And I just started gagging and screaming. And then he puts it on the ladder and puts a handcuff around the ladder, and now Jeff's head is handcuffed to a full-size ladder. Not even like a kiddie ladder, a full-size ladder.
Brittany, we're going to take a quick second to show our viewers at home your actual reaction from this moment, because this moment is the reason I chose you to watch this match.
I had a feeling.
Zayn just inserted the handcuffs through the stretch piercing of Jeff Hardy's earlobe. Hardy's not going to be able to move. He'll lose his ear. Sami Zayn just handcuffed Hardy to the ladder. And then what happened to handcuffs to the earlobe of Jeff Hardy? Look at this.
I understand
What
now.
kind of sicko does that? I don't know if it's sicko. I think it's kind of brilliant.
I literally blacked out. I was terrified. I was literally terrified. The whole time I was trying to think, like, why did Greg choose this one for me? And then when we got to the ear part, it made a lot of sense. Because I have stretched ears, for people who do not know. At one point, they were an inch. And I felt that wholeheartedly. And I could not imagine dragging a ladder that's attached to my ear. And this was another moment where my husband was in the other room going, is she okay? I was fully gagging in here, screaming, because it's one of my biggest fears that someone would just rip my earlobe off. Yeah, so I was triggered. I was fully triggered. Holy shit.
After this disgusting use of handcuffs, Sami gets back in the ring with his other pair of handcuffs. Sami sets up the ladder in the middle of the ring and attempts to handcuff AJ to the middle rope. AJ fights back, knocking Sami to the ground with a suplex. AJ looks up to the championship, but notices that he is now handcuffed to Sami Zayn.
Stop. That one also got me. And I had a feeling it was going to happen.
It plays into this nice little, if I can't win this match, nobody's going to win this match type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliantly executed by Sami Zayn here. The smile on his face is enough to tell you the whole story pretty much.
Yeah. And the commentators like, now no one can win. Like, no one can win now. Who's going to win?
What happens next? AJ gets Sami on his shoulders and tries to climb the ladder. And then Jeff gets back into the ring with the ladder attached to him and starts attacking Styles. While Styles and Jeff are distracted by each other, Sami Zayn takes a handcuff key out of his mouth, unlocks himself, and handcuffs AJ to the ladder.
I was mortified because Jeff is sitting there holding, again, a full-sized ladder. I don't know if anyone understands how big that is. It's large, to his ear, and he's holding it, and then he's like trying to hit someone. All someone has to do is pull that ladder and his ear is gone. That's all they have to do. Full ear gone.
It's my understanding that ear cartilage is actually very strong.
You seen old women, though, who have like the long earrings and then they have no ears anymore because it just pulls their earlobes down. It happens, okay? Terrifying.
So then that really brings us to the finish of this match, where AJ is handcuffed to one thing and Jeff is handcuffed to another, and both of Sami's hands are free. So he just casually climbs the ladder and grabs both championships.
Yeah. So it's not against the rules for him to introduce handcuffs?
There's no rules per se in a ladder match.
Okay.
So yeah, that was in his rights to be able to do that. And he played it smart.
Yeah. Yeah. I also was surprised that AJ didn't tip the ladder over while he was handcuffed to it.
You're right, because we did see that earlier in the match when Jeff did it. And then one great thing after the match, Sami takes both of his belts. He walks up the ramp for an interview, and he claims that he was always the Intercontinental Champion. He's not the new Intercontinental Champion. He is still your Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. I thought that played into the whole storyline a bit.
That really brings the story full fold there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We've gone through the match. Do you have any final thoughts on what you have seen here today?
As wrestling progresses, they're definitely becoming more and more creative in their storylines and keeping people entertained. Because someone like me, it doesn't take too much to surprise me, I guess. I react to things a lot. But, like, pulling out the handcuffs, and then even just handcuffing his ear to the thing was very creative and garners a large response to a lot of people because it's crazy.
Yes. There was a moment that we covered in the last episode. It was a Mick Foley versus, or one of our last episodes. It was Mick Foley versus The Rock, and we covered a part of the Beyond the Mat documentary. And Mick Foley winds up saying, for every person there's offended, there's like 20 people caught up in the drama of what's going on.
Yeah. So I thought that was really smart because like there's only so much of like hitting and kicking that you can do.
Yeah.
I felt like they surprised me more than they were going to because sometimes I can like, I won't get bored with it, but sometimes I'm like, okay, like I get it. But they surprised me more than I thought they were going to. And I really liked the commentary today, like a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's going to wrap it up for us.
Amazing. Thank you for having me on, Greg. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I want to thank Britney again for being on the show. Take this opportunity to, again, if you haven't already, like this video, comment, subscribe. If there's any non-wrestling fans out there that would like to be on the show, drop me an email, drop me a DM. I don't got a lot going on, so hit me up. It'd be great to hear from you. Check out my action figure videos on here. I try to post those daily, but I've been getting a lot of people coming in to do this show, so that's where my time has been lately. One more thank you to Britney for being on the show. And finally, I don't want to be doing this forever. I want to get back to work. So stay safe, stay home. If you go out, wear a mask. I don't know if this is going to be posted before or after November 3rd, but go out and vote on November 3rd. Don't be a dick and try supporting each other every once in a while. Thanks again for watching. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.